am down, and oh, my soul so weary. When troubles come, and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me.
My first guest today on the program is a 29-year-old opera singer from Brisbane. He's performed opera internationally and right here in his own country. However, in December of 2015, he was given the news that none of us ever want to hear. I've invited Matt Hirst onto the program today to chat about his cancer and an album that he recorded to raise funds for cancer research. To find out more and find out what he's doing right now, he's online. Matt Hirst, a very big welcome into Melbourne.
Thank you very much for having me, Leigh. Pleasure.
Nice to have you here, pal. Gee, that was tragic news. December 2015, if I'm right.
Yes, that's absolutely correct, yeah. So the initial MRI was late November, and then I had the surgery in December of 2015. Yeah.
Now, you had some symptoms prior to this, and from reading about this, your mum was on your back to go and see a doctor and so on, and I think you were travelling overseas performing. You said, look, when I get back. Is that how it really happened?
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. Mum had been pushing for me to get my MRI months beforehand, before I was overseas, and obviously went overseas with the contract and then came back and still kept on pushing it, and eventually had to just give in and do what I was told. So that was the right thing to do, obviously, and and that's when we found out.
So, Matt, when you got that news, how did you take it?
Thankfully, I have and had an incredible support system around me from family and friends and my GP. And they organised everything for me just so incredibly well that it all flowed very quickly from the MRI, then the results, and then going straight to the hospital. So I was exceptionally lucky, and that really is a massive help, is having a support system around you.
You were diagnosed at that stage with a brain tumour and given 12 months to live. Now, that's some time back now. What are we, 14 months, isn't it?
Yeah, 13 months. So I've just hit that mark and gone over it, so that's an achievement within itself.
Matt, tell me, what sort of treatment have you had up to this stage then to try and help? So
the initial period was radiation and chemotherapy for 6 weeks. And then I went straight onto another system of chemotherapy for 6 months over a period of time. And then I took some time off just over Christmas and New Year's and my birthday, so that I had didn't have to deal with kind of the aspects of the treatment when you're actually on it. So another one is coming up soon, and I'll just see how that goes. Yes,
you're having a revision, aren't you, in a few weeks' time, apparently?
Yeah, so another MRI just to see what's actually happening and whether everything's okay and how it's responding to the treatment, and then we'll see what the next stage is.
Matt, you're sounding very, very bright in yourself. How are you feeling?
Oh, look, it's ups and downs, that's for sure, but I always have taken the attitude that it's best just to keep on going and pick yourself up, despite how you're feeling, because there's definitely days that aren't great, but you just have to seriously just pick yourself up. Yeah.
In the early days, before you were diagnosed, I believe you were suffering moments of memory loss. What did you do at that stage? Did you twig on something then that there's something may be wrong?
It took me a while to actually finally figure that out. I was forgetting things really easily, and that was never an issue for me previously. And it became really obvious to me when I was forgetting people's names, and then it got to the point where I was forgetting my own name, and that was when it kind of stood out, well, there's something seriously wrong here. So, that was the giveaway at that period of time.
And even the words to your songs, I believe you're forgetting too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'd have to review everything. Usually I'd be able to get my music down relatively quickly, but then I was having to review it literally just before going on stage. And I thought that was just a stress factor, but it was obviously something a bit more than that.
Matt, you're a young guy, you're fit, you're active, all of these things. You've been involved in opera and singing, entertaining for yonks since you left school. Your mum thought it might have been epilepsy, but of course it wasn't. Has the tumour shrunk at all?
I mean, there was a 90 to 95% was actually removed of the tumour in the first place. There's still a portion in there, and with the next MRI, we'll see how it's actually responded to the last period. So that's coming up, and then we'll know what the next stage is. It's remained stationary for this period of time, but that doesn't mean that it's completely disappeared.
So there is some hope there that perhaps it won't be a death sentence to you.
That's right, which is always a positive. And you just have to take whatever good news that you get given, even if it's a small amount, that you just have to take that and keep on moving. Yeah.
Matt, how common is this in chaps your age?
Look, it's actually quite a high percentage. Under 40, it's one of the highest types of cancers that is quite aggressive, and that the survival rate is exceptionally low. So it's unfortunately the survival rate is, like I said, very low. It's only like 5 to 10%, and generally the survival period is only 12 months. If you get more than that, then you're exceptionally lucky. Exceptionally lucky.
And what does the government put into funding all of this? Do they go to fund research and so on?
It's one of the lowest funded types of research for cancer. So brain cancer, receives the lowest, which is why my contribution to the Cure Brain Cancer Foundation has been so important to me, and to raise awareness within the community.
Well, I think I read the donations up to this stage are around about $13,500. You went out to fulfil one of your dreams, and you wanted to do this before anything would happen to you further, and you went and recorded an album called Mighty Steps. Yeah,
so the album recording was initially just for family, and we made the decision that it was actually worthwhile to actually give it back to the community. So that was the whole aim of last year, was to raise awareness within the community and also to give back so that there was research into the area, because it's essential.
And it's something you're giving people here that they're going to remember you by. Hopefully you're going to be around for a long, long time to come. But that'll be the first album that you'll be able to say, I did this when. And, it'll be great. I played one of those tracks before from the album, and of course, when listeners hear the next track, so I'm going to play Smile before we wrap up later, and they can go and access that on YouTube, on iTunes, isn't it? iTunes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's available for download on iTunes, and also physical copies through the Cure Brain Cancer Foundation itself. And it's just nice to know that all of the funds go towards the foundation.
That's wonderful for research. Now, you're a jazz singer, but you decided not to record... Sorry, you were an opera singer, but you decided to record jazz standards on this CD.
Yes. I've always loved jazz, and there was a portion of me that kind of always wanted to go down into that area as well. So it was a great pleasure to be able to work with Professor Tony Gould. He's absolutely incredible.
He is. He's a great artist.
Yeah, and so that was an honour within itself, and a great gift. So it was, fantastic.
Matt, when you're in a recording studio, even if you're fully healthy, you've got all your wits about you and so on, it's quite a stressful time. How did you, suffering an illness, cope with that?
I was exceptionally lucky that the recording process was broken up. So usually recordings would be done over, a very close period of time, full days. I broke it up over 2 weeks, 3-hour sessions with days in between to recover, because I was actually on treatment at the same time. So it was dealing with that, and also just the tiredness aspect of the chemotherapy, and lucky enough I was able to break it up, so that was good.
Tell me how the family's taken all of this.
I've been exceptionally lucky. They've been very... I think we just approach things as they come, and just take it on board and keep on going. We don't get overly dramatic with it or take it too harshly. Yeah, it's not a good situation, obviously, but you kind of just have to keep on going and keep on pushing through life. Otherwise, you just sit around doing nothing. So I couldn't do that, and they don't do that either, so I've been very lucky.
Tell me how you started out as a singer. Was it through school? Were you performing in school days? What happened?
Yeah, it was actually in primary school in a school choir. So our school music teacher back then auditioned a very small group. There was only like 5 or 6 of us in a very specific choir, and we went off and we won all these competitions. And she then recommended that I went off to the youth choir for the Queensland Conservatorium, and kind of from that period onwards, through my teenage years, I then did private lessons and eventually went to university.
And why opera?
I think I always looked at it from the athletic perspective of it, is that, it really requires your full body and voice aspect to get to that point of achieving opera. And it's sometimes really difficult. So I think I looked at it as something to achieve and work towards. And I just love the music itself. It's beautiful. I love opera.
Who's your favourite artist, or who's your favourite composer?
Oh, that is a hard one.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
There are many composers who I love. I mean, everyone looks at the old standards, and Mozart is most definitely one of those. And we kind of get started on, Mozart, and then you spread out and you discover all of these other composers who are absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, and then you grow that and you discover all these new areas. Yeah.
Well, you're sort of leaning towards Mozart there, and that's my favourite too. I love Mozart's operas. Don Giovanni is one of my favourites, I suppose.
Don G and that character, yeah.
Oh,
very
absolutely.
incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you played that?
Oh, definitely not. No, Don Giovanni is usually used for singers who are probably in their late 30s, mid to late 30s.
Well, you're heading up in that direction. You never know.
I know, yeah. I never know, but it's usually you start at that kind of point. You wait until your muscles and your system and everything like that have adapted to it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Matt, if things work out in your favour, what do you plan? Are you planning going back into opera and touring and so on?
That would be lovely. That would be really, really nice. But I just have to see how this process goes and follow that.
It is a step by step.
That would be ideal.
A step by step. Yeah. Tell me, if I gave you 3 wishes, what would you wish for?
I think the 3 wishes, definitely the first one would be finding a cure for cancer in general, full stop. Just helping the community, because then that means that we can go on and achieve anything else that we want in life. So, and it takes that stress off everyone. And I think it would definitely be within the realm of music, of having a career back into that area, and just a positive aspect of life in general. So I think those 3 things are really important.
That's lovely. That sums up your life, I think, in a nutshell there. It's wonderful. Now, the album is called Mighty Steps. Now, tell us again how we can access it.
So Mighty Steps can be accessed through iTunes. The full album can be downloaded, and also through the Cure Brain Cancer Foundation website, where physical copies get sent out to people.
Matt, you've got some wonderful songs. You've got Smile, That's All There Is, Moon River, You'll Never Walk Alone, one of my favourites, and You Raised Me Up and So It Goes On. Some lovely, lovely tracks, and the way they have been arranged is absolutely beautiful. Did Tony do most of those arrangements for you?
Yeah, he did. And Stefan Casamenos, who was also the other accompanist on there, both of them are incredible. And but all of the jazz tracks with were basically, rearranged so that it worked for both of us.
Really sound nice. Matt, it's been a delight to talk to you on my program today. I want to keep in touch with you, and let's do that. I know you're going to get some quarterly figures coming out soon about the CD sales and so on. Let's talk when they do come out, and we'll follow that up and let our listeners know what's happened there too.
That would be an absolute pleasure, Leigh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. You take care. All the best as you get more tests done in a week or so's time, and let's all be very, very positive for you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye to you. Matt Hirst.